Welcome to the Solid Verbal. The Solid Verbal.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
I've heard so many players say, well, I want to be happy. You want to be happy for a day? Eat a steak.
It's that woo-woo!
And now, Dan and Ty.
Welcome back to the Solid Verbal, boys and girls. My name is Ty Hildenbrand. Joining me, as always, my friend over there in New York City, a gentleman, a fine gentleman, on the mend from his cold earlier in the week, Dan Rubenstein. Sir, how are you?
Ty, we both know I shouldn't be here. This is wrong. And baby Ty, it's killing me. It's killing you. Both of us trying to be strong. You know, Ty, I've got somewhere else to be. Promises to keep. I got someone else who loves me, Ty. And trust me, fast asleep. I've made up my mind, Ty. There's no turning back.
I have no idea. You got me. This is like 3 weeks in a row now you've gotten me.
So this is the all-time jam. It's not really a jam. From 98 Degrees called The Hardest Thing. I believe it starred Dustin Diamond and Allie Landry.
Please tell me you were reading those lyrics and not going from memory.
I was reading.
Okay.
Does that make you feel any better?
It does make me feel a lot better. You wouldn't believe it, but yes.
Okay. We had a really fun college football weekend. Week is going all right. Went back to the gym this morning. Hammered the core, Ty.
Yeah, you gotta.
Hammered the core. No complaints. How's life with you?
Life is good. I'm excited. I'm eagerly awaiting this show. I've been excited to talk about what I think is going to be a very lively Week 8 in the college football world. This also represents kind of the midway point in the season, doesn't it?
If we're not already beyond it, yeah. See, I sort of feel like when teams get to 6 games, even though there's conference championship stuff and some teams play more than 12 because of Hawaii, that kind of thing, I think we're teetering on the other side.
When you think back to the first half of the college football season, it's incredible to say that because all we do all year is wait for the season to get here. And then when it does, before you know it, lo and behold, we're in Week 8. But when you think back, though, to the first half of the season, what are your general takeaways? What are the themes of the first half of the season?
We thought a lot more quarterbacks were going to be really good. And it has not been a good year outside of Baker Mayfield's. For the most part, Jake Browning has had a nice year. But there have been I'm leaving out a ton of pretty good quarterbacks. Will Grier has been very good. JT Barrett outside of the Oklahoma game. You know, there are definitely good performances, but I think it's been a down year in terms of star power at quarterback. And I think that was, to a certain degree, a little expected with the loss of some key guys, but not to this extent.
My takeaway is, with the exception of Alabama, who has clearly run away with everything so far this year. They're a 35-point favorite this week in a rivalry game against Tennessee, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But
sorry, I forgot Wilton Speight. That's on me. I forgot Wilton Speight.
Beyond Alabama,
yeah,
literally every team in college football feels upsettable to me. And that's not even a word. I just made it up. But
that's fine.
Upsettable is what I'm going with, because honestly, we saw it happen with Clemson. We've seen it happen with USC. We saw it happen with Ohio State. It could very well happen to a Penn State down the road. Like all of Washington, throw them in the mix. We've seen all these top teams that we expected to be bulletproof to a much larger degree, and they all feel gettable to me.
Why is Alabama not upsettable this year?
Why are they not upsettable?
Yeah, what is it about this year's Alabama?
Is that a real question?
Team? It is a real question, because in previous years, when they've had NFL talent, when they go deep at running back, when they are coached by these top-of-the-line coaches, and they've had some inconsistency or just attrition this year with the loss of a couple of key coaches, Mario Cristobal to Oregon, Billy Napier went to Arizona State, whatever. There have been guys. Kirby Smart has been gone for a couple of years. What is it about this year's team that's different than, say, the team that lost to Texas A&M or the team that lost 2 out of 3 years to Ole Miss? What is different?
First off, their defense remains outstanding. And when you've got a really good defense, that insulates you, I think, from some of that upset ability. And then beyond that, to build on their defense, they're just so solid fundamentally on the offensive side of the football. All right, I'm not even talking about the passing game. They can run the ball at will with the horses they have up front, and there just aren't many teams that are equipped to beat that.
I mean, they'll have Auburn and perhaps Georgia to finish out the season. And those are less, I mean, certainly Georgia would be less of an upset because presumably if they win the East, they'll be in the top 3 to 8, right?
Presumably.
Depending on what happens. Even, they can afford to lose a game. So it's not as much of an upset. But I disagree a little bit just because it is a relatively, and a lot of these guys have had experience, but the defense up front is definitely, it was not overhauled, but it's a changing time, Ty. Not unlike the changes we all went through at a certain point.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's puberty for the Alabama defensive front. Fair enough.
That's true. So I hesitate to say unupsettable.
I think they're unupsettable. I think you're believing that they can be beaten when in fact they can't this season.
Who is the team nationally that you think, the combination of coaching and quarterback and scheme and talent and, fearless play calling, whatever, who do you think is that team then nationally?
The team that can beat Alabama?
Yes, that has the best chance.
I will boil off the coaching aspect of this argument when I talk about Penn State and James Franklin. I think it's more of a scheme thing.
Okay.
I think it's more of a scheme thing. I think they can put together the kind of scheme that we've seen from a team like a Texas A&M, the kind of scheme we've seen from a team like an Ole Miss. They run a wide open enough system. They can run it with tempo. Those are typically the kinds of offenses that have given Alabama more trouble in the past. You're talking to Georgia with a pro-style system. That to me, I don't think that's really ever been that successful against Alabama. Not once they got this thing tuned up. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna need to be a team like a Penn State. It's gonna need to be a team, quite frankly, like an Auburn. But they're going to need to get higher level quarterback play from a guy like a Jared Stidham, and I'm not sure he's ready for that quite yet against a really, really good defense.
When Penn State is 1-2 points better than Iowa, right?
No, you're right. I agree. I'm just saying, if I'm looking at a scheme that I think can go and give Alabama difficulty, I think it would be Penn State. My larger point, though, before we kind of got sidetracked, is that outside Alabama, it feels to me like all these teams are very upsettable. And whenever you have that mix, generally speaking, as you get into the real throes of rivalries and conference schedules, that's usually a great recipe for a lot of cool games and upsets down the stretch.
The spicy factor is heightened this year.
The spicy factor is absolutely heightened. I think down the stretch, it's going to be a ton of fun. So I'm excited.
Agree, but disagree on the Penn State point.
Fair enough. All right. Do we have any odds and ends before we just jump right in here?
No, but we should mention that before one of our game previews, we do have a brand spanking new segment that we're introducing.
Spicy.
A weekly segment. Repeating Picante. There's your hint.
On that note.
Yes.
Dan, Ty, help. I need picks of the week.
Dan, I've been looking at a window of opportunity for all y'all.
Oh, no. Let me get the schedule in front of me.
I've been looking for a window of opportunity. As is commonplace here on the show, what we try to do is pull out a couple games that we think are of most national interest, most national prominence. If your team is out of it, if you listen to the show, you're just trying to have fun on a Saturday and sit on your couch and watch the football, when should you watch? When should you watch? I think you should watch late, right? You got two games at 7:30, one on NBC, one on ABC. Notre Dame, USC, Penn State, Michigan. Both my teams in action the exact same time. Thankfully, it's only 2 and not 4 games concurrently like it was back in like week 2. But alas, be home for those games. Get your chores, get your housework out of the way early. Get in front of the couch shortly after dinner. Maybe pop open an adult libation, whatever you're into, dog, I'm not judging. Get in front of the TV a little bit later on. Watch USC at Notre Dame. Watch Penn State playing host to Michigan, big old whiteout. Not just in Beaver Stadium, mind you, but all throughout the town. It'll be a cool atmosphere.
Is that true?
That is true. James Franklin
Everybody's
called
just
for
wearing white near the stadium?
James Franklin has called for a whiteout of not just Beaver Stadium, but State College proper.
Do they have like those air raid sirens that alert everybody? James Franklin is called for a...
I don't know if there's a James Franklin signal, like a bat signal that goes up from Old Main or not. But yeah, it's going to be a big weekend in State College if you're going to be in town.
You're saying, and I think I agree with this, the window is probably after the nooners, before the night games.
Absolutely.
So maybe casually watch the Nooners, unless, of course, your team is playing deep focus. Your team needs you. And then maybe late afternoon, East Coast time, or lunchtime on the West Coast, and, sort of in between. Maybe go for a stroll if it's a crisp fall afternoon.
It's looking like a beautiful day here in the Northeast.
Yeah. Go walk the dog, go run a couple of errands between, maybe have the radio on, whatever the case may be. But that is your general window. Maybe start preparing dinner for a good situation for Penn State, Michigan, and USC Notre Dame.
Go see Cats earlier in the day. You got time.
So we have Tennessee, Bama at 3:30. It looks like Oklahoma, Kansas State, which it's 4 o'clock Eastern. Syracuse, Miami. It's just there's nothing grabby. At least noon has Oklahoma State, Texas, which I feel a little bit better about.
Lest you forget about Iowa State, Texas Tech, which we'll talk about here.
Excuse me. That's on me. Actually, that looks to be pretty fun.
So are we in agreement then? Be around for the late games.
Be around for the late games.
All right. Window of opportunity.
It makes me feel warm inside.
We finally come to a much needed agreement on this. Your window of opportunity is sometime between 12 and 7:30 when the big games kick off.
Yeah, I'd stay for the Nooners, but casually watch. Grab a sandwich, casually watch.
Speaking of Nooners, 12 p.m. on ABC, we've got Oklahoma State, 7.5-point road favorite against the Texas Longhorns. Something you might not know about the Texas Longhorns, Dan. We know everything about college football on the show, right?
That's us.
We know everything there is to know, all the angles we have, down to a T. I didn't know this. Texas is 5-1 against the point spread this year. The only loss against the point spread, again, was that stinker against Maryland back in week 1.
Yeah, that would make sense.
If you look at this team, they are good enough to win by 10 or lose by 10 to just about every team in the country, maybe outside like Alabama and Clemson.
Outside like 17 of them.
Outside 7 teams, sure.
Yeah.
Win by 10, lose by 10. Now this week, okay, they're a home dog. 7.5. Yeah, that's manageable. It's one score for the most part. Last week was a smorgasbord for home dogs, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Could Texas be the next home dog? Could they be the home dog of the week?
I think they're in that direction. So Here's what we know about Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, they're a pretty complete team, especially on offense. They give up a little bit too much on third down. You can move it on the ground a little bit. We saw what TCU was able to do. Here's the great news, Ty. Texas can't really move the ball on the ground.
Nope.
I mean, Sam Ehlinger is a good runner, and there's talent, but as a team, this is not a team led by a rushing attack of any sort of meaningful consequence, whatever.
Right.
But they're throwing with increased success now that Sam Ehlinger is more and more the guy. I think for Texas, they need to be just excellent when they're on defense. They're great against the run. I expect them to bottle up Oklahoma State for the most part on the ground, but This is interesting to me. Oklahoma State on the road. A decent defense at home as an underdog, Ty, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the best Oklahoma State win is Texas Tech?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yep.
So they're one of those teams that we sort of still only know a little bit about in terms of what they can do against very good teams in a winning way. Give me those points.
Whoa!
And not only am I taking those points.
Whoa, hold on. This might be too sexy before the Patriot League Lightning Round.
Prepare yourself, Ty.
Whoa. Okay, I'm ready.
Not only do I covet those points, give me Texas outright, 34-31.
The Yakos, home dog of the week.
Right out of the chute here with the home dog of the week.
Ty. I'm going to be in Austin, not this weekend, but the following weekend for a wedding. And I'm feeling good Austin vibes, Ty. I just am.
Feeling those Texas vapors. Wow. I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but allow me again to bring a little bit of reality to this damn podcast. You're telling me at the top that Alabama's beatable, which au contraire, I don't think they are. Now you're picking Texas outright. Have you looked at how good Texas is when it comes to defending big plays this year, Daniel?
No, they give up way too many of them. And this is another week against one of the best, probably 5 quarterbacks in the country. And Mason Rudolph last week was Baker.
They are just terrible at giving up big plays. According to our friend Bill Connolly's S&P Plus measure, Texas is 117th. 117 in the nation at giving up big plays. They're really bad at giving up big plays in the passing game. And he mentioned Mason Rudolph, but I'm going to mention our boy Junkyard Jim Washington again because he's going to eat, Dan. He's going to eat here. He's averaging 19 yards per target, almost 26 yards per catch. That is not a good formula. Not a good formula in this game if you are a Texas Longhorns fan. So here's what I'm going to do. I see your home dog of the week. I admire that. I think that's cute. I think it's great that you're going to support the team that's in the town where you're going to be in 2 weeks?
Yeah,
he said 2 weeks.
Brother-in-law went there. Yeah,
it is so stupid for me to go against a home dog with the way the season is going.
Yeah, I tell you, this is
really just a terrible move to be so emphatic about it.
Thumbing your nose at the altar of Dan. It's fine. Many people have tried that, Ty. You're not the first.
Texas shows flashes, but they have too many lapses on defense. I think the big plays are ultimately what fell the mighty Longhorns 38-27. Give me the Cowboys on the road.
Okay. All right. And there's some weird karma at play, right? The college football gods with Oklahoma State, Texas in recent years.
I know.
Okay, just listen. Follow your heart, Ty. Follow your heart.
Saturday at 3:30. I'm excited we get to talk about this game.
This is real football, Ty.
This is real football here. We got UCF, the Knights, on the road, a 7-point favorite at Navy. It has been a while since we popped the hood on a game between two really good Power 5 teams. For those out there who haven't been paying attention, here is the state of play for both these guys, all right? UCF, they're one of 8 unbeaten teams at the FBS level. Now, if you followed college football for any period of time, you know that over the last decade or so, they've been a very good football team. Things just went sideways 2 years ago when they went 0-12 and George O'Leary resigned. That's when they brought Scott Frost in. And now they're back to being pretty good again. They're undefeated, one of 8 undefeateds in FBS, headed for, I think, a really positive season so far. On the Navy side, this is Ken Niumatalolo's 10th season.
Whew.
Navy has won at least 8 games in 8 of the last 9 years. Navy, over the last decade, has also been a very, very good football team. So this is, in a sense, a classic matchup between two stalwarts at the Group of 5 level. Fair to say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. American dominance.
What is the best unit on the field here?
UCF's offense is otherworldly. It's just madness how efficient they are. Mackenzie Milton to Traquan Smith is one of the great connections in college football. It's a thing of beauty. The defense is pretty good. They're okay. They're nothing great, but they're good enough to be on the same vehicle as UCF. Navy has had a good year quietly. They haven't really beaten anybody of real consequence, but they have a good quarterback in Zach Abey, quietly making some teams very sorry. They're going to need to nickel and dime UCF. It's not a huge play team, this Navy team. They're not busting long runs, not a real explosive quotient. But the thing that I'm most concerned about in this game is, you look at UCF and how are they against the run? And did you see who the scout team quarterback was for the Knights? It was Scott Frost. It was wonderful and scary. And you're like, how old is that? And the elbows were out. It was wonderful to see. Navy's pass defense, I don't believe, is good enough. Even though it's at home, even though it's in Annapolis, I don't have the weather in front of me. I think UCF is they're too explosive on offense, especially through the air. I have UCF by 10, 31-21. I don't think it's going to be particularly high scoring, even with the numbers that UCF has been putting up, because Navy's going to slow this game down.
Sure.
31-21, and I'm a little bit worried. Betting against Navy in Annapolis in a big game.
Yeah.
Rough.
Well, that's just it. I hesitate to break too hard for UCF, because we've seen this before where Navy just takes the air out of the ball. They limit possessions. They grind it out. They're averaging about 36 minutes of possession per game. And clearly that will pose a challenge for a UCF team that wants to get the ball. They want to throw it. It'll be a challenge for them just defensively on the ground. They're not going to face a team like Navy the rest of the way, a team that can beat you up and just grind it out like that. But I do concur with you. The matchup is really bad for Navy's defense. They're a huge liability on defense. And I just think UCF's the better team. So what do you say, 31-21?
31-21.
I'm going to agree with that. It feels about right to me. I think UCF wins and they cover. I don't know if Navy's like too domineering a place to play on the road here. I don't know how much of a factor that really plays here. So
We agree.
All right, moving on. What do you love most about shaving with Harry's, Dan?
Impressing the woman friend.
Yeah?
Oh my God. She's a big fan. So I keep the beard trimmed, but what I use the Harry's razor I have for is, that wasn't English. That most certainly was not. I keep the neck nice and clean, Ty.
Yeah?
I think my cutoff line is the Adam's apple.
Okay.
So I keep nobody wants to look like Andrew Luck.
No.
That's the philosophy I live by. We love Andrew Luck. But you got to keep the neck clean for your significant other, and that's what I love about Harry's. It's a great razor. The handle is wonderful, Ty. I don't know if we've talked about that. Wonderful handle.
Oh, it's terrific. The whole thing's terrific. I switched over full-time to Harry's a couple years ago. I haven't looked back. They're so confident that you're going to love their blades that they'll give you their trial shave set for free when you sign up at harrys.com/solid. All you need to do is pay for shipping. You love it. I love it. Over 3 million guys out there have switched over to Harry's. They own their own blade making factory in Germany.
That's pretty good. I would love to own my own German blade factory.
Not just that, but they offer their blades at half the price of the leading 5-blade razor, selling directly to you over the interwebs. It's a pretty good deal. Right now, you can claim your free trial offer from Harry's today. It's a $13 value that you get for free. All you got to do, again, is pay for shipping. Your free trial set includes a weighted ergonomic razor handle, 5 precision-engineered blades with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade, rich lathering shave gel, which I love, by the way.
Same.
And the underrated travel blade cover, which I cannot emphasize enough, is like a really good idea that I've never seen before. Come with any other razor. It's just a little plastic hood that you can pop over top of your blade if you got it in a travel case or something.
Love it.
To get your free trial, go to harrys.com, harrys.com/solid right now. harrys.com/solid. Again, the free trial offer. It's a $13 value. Get it for free. harrys.com/solid. All you got to do is pay for the shipping. Now, let's go to 4 p.m. Let's go to the Fox network. Let's talk about Oklahoma on the road. Now a 12.5-point favorite against the Kansas State Wildcats, Daniel. We haven't talked about K-State as much as I thought we would at the start of the year. Right now, they're sitting at 3-3. Mm-hmm. They've got wins over bad teams, exclusively bad teams.
Mm-hmm. And a loss to a bad team, to be fair.
And a loss to a bad team. And they've got losses to everybody else. Now you layer in that they're without Jesse Ertz, who was supposed to be their starting quarterback. He's on the shelf with a knee injury. We saw a little bit of Alex Delton a week ago trying to step in as his replacement, but really not getting a whole lot done. Even on defense, they've been so-so, which has been a very quiet eye-opener for me. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. Like, I want to go home dog here because I know K-State has been that in the past.
Is L. Roberson playing?
No, he's not.
Is Colin Klein in the suit up?
No him, no Darren Sproles, nobody.
Okay, just making sure.
So I guess if you're going against Oklahoma, the only things you're really hanging your hat on are this fantasy from the past about K-State being a home dog or just an underdog in general, mm-hmm. and maybe that there's going to be a huge letdown effort here by Oklahoma 1 week after the Red River Shootout. Those are the only two factors that I could find that would lead one to go with K-State.
4 11-minute drives. That's what Kansas State pulled off in the upset nobody saw coming. Yeah, I don't think any of that is incorrect. We know Oklahoma State has a wonderful offense. The defense has been below average, which is kind of a shock, I guess.
Yeah.
But they've been still adjusting talent-wise in the back. Especially versus the pass, they've not been all that good, giving up too many big plays. You talked about it with Texas. It's especially true as well for Oklahoma. But, Ty, here comes that big but. And what was your what was your statement about the word but last week? Everything before the but is BS?
That's correct, yes.
Kansas State doesn't have much of an offense. They're probably going to start Alex Delton, who was not all that good last week. They can't run, nor can they pass. So that's not great. And on top of that, Ty, they start out very, very slowly on offense, which is not all that fun against Oklahoma. If you get them to a passing down, if you get them to 3rd and 8, whatever, they're pretty much done. That's that. And Oklahoma can do that a few times. Kansas State cannot keep up. I have this at 33-17.
Wow.
Covers.
We are of kindred spirit. I have...
What do you have?
34-17 written down here on my sheet. And look, I just don't know how it's within 12 points. Because Baker Mayfield should be able to throw. He's going to get his 300 yards, 30 points, whatever. Even if their defense plays soft, Dan, what are we looking at for K-State? 20 points tops?
Yeah, I think so. That feels right.
It's just a bridge too far for me to think that K-State can win this game. I generally don't want to go with the team to cover if I don't think they can win outright. Though not true in all cases, this to me feels like one where it could well get out of hand. I don't think there's any chance of K-State winning this game. It's going to take such a monumental letdown from Oklahoma for that to occur that it's too far beyond for me. 34-17, Oklahoma on the road. Came close to locking it up, but I'm not going to.
Letdown spot after Texas?
That's what I'm saying. There's a potential for a letdown spot, but I don't see it here.
I don't see it. Not against K-State.
I don't see it. So we agree.
Hope I'm wrong. Hope this game is entertaining and fun.
We agree. And that brings us, Daniel, to the 2 nightcaps, okay?
Here we go.
Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC, we've got Penn State, the Nittany Lions, playing host to the Michigan Wolverines. They are a hefty 10-point home favorite. A lot going on. I talked about the town-wide whiteout that James Franklin has called for. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, we've got College Game Day in town on the Old Main Lawn. Mm-hmm. I am jealous I will not be there to experience this game in person. We've talked ad nauseum about watching the game on TV at our ripe old age versus actually going to the college football games. And it's probably a better watching experience from your couch at home, but to experience that atmosphere in person is still something that's quite intoxicating, literally and figuratively. Mm-hmm. And as a Penn State alum, I'm a little bit upset that I won't be able to experience it in person.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a great time.
Some things to note. Keep in mind that this is a revenge spot for Penn State, Dan, because they lost, 49-10, something last year.
A lot to a little.
Yeah, at Michigan. At the time, people were writing off James Franklin like this was going to be the end for him. But then the switches started going off afterwards because Penn State figured it out. The next game against Minnesota, they rip off 9 straight. They win the Big Ten. So perhaps it was a good thing that they lost that game so handily to Michigan. I look at this game and I say that Michigan's offense is just really bad.
Mm-hmm. Woeful.
They're Florida bad. Almost Florida bad. I don't want to go too far.
Yeah, they've played and they weren't that bad.
Almost Florida bad. It is not good. John O'Korn has stepped in for the injured Wilton Spate, who we mentioned at the top of the show. It's really been a mixed bag for him. And when I say mixed bag, I'm talking like a bag of Starburst, but all yellows and maybe 2 of the reds, and that's it.
Yellows are wonderful, Ty. Do not besmirch my yellow Starburst. Yeah, that's right. I love citrus. I'm not afraid to say that.
So you would put yellows over the red?
100%.
What?
Absolutely.
You've got to be.
Unpopular opinion.
Yellows are 4th.
See, a lemon flavored dessert is not as generic and mainstream, and I appreciate that. I like the flavor. I like that burst of citrus.
Give me your Starburst color power rankings here.
I don't really eat candy, but
well, you know the 4 colors. Come on.
Yeah. Yellow's my number 1. Orange is probably number 2. What do I have to choose from?
You've got yellow, you've
red,
got orange,
pink?
you've got pink, and you've got red.
Yeah, it's probably yellow, orange, red, pink, or pink, red.
Wow.
Either one. Yeah.
I cannot believe this.
Yeah. Red could be anything. Red is just it's a cough drop. Who cares?
I was raised to believe that if yellow was that high in your power rankings. You were raised by wolves.
No, you were just taught to believe what everybody else does is normal, Ty.
Jeez.
And that's not how the world works.
I am dismayed by this, Daniel.
Don't follow the masses, Ty.
All right. Well, whatever. It's been a mixed bag of something for John O'Corn.
Yeah.
Whether your bag's got yellows or reds or anything in between.
Don't worry about the starburst. It's been mounds.
That's right.
Almond joy.
How will Michigan score enough points to win in this game?
Defense, special teams, Karan Higdon long plays that are just, busted assignments or something like that. It won't be through the air. It probably won't be long sustained drives, but Michigan, because of the defense they have, is absolutely capable of winning this game. 100% capable. They're 10-point dogs on the road?
I don't fully agree, but you have a point. Okay. Continue.
So here is Michigan can score points. The defense can pick Trace McSorley, who is not nearly the deep threat this year as he was last year without Chris Godwin. Yes.
Agreed.
Michigan does not have to dedicate the personnel attention that, say Northwestern did to Saquon Barkley in order to contain him for the most part, right?
Okay.
It's not a numbers thing because the talent is there. Devin Bush exists. Rashawn Gary exists. So they can play a little bit more balance against this Penn State offense. But your question was, how does Michigan score? Not how does Michigan defend? I think it's a field position thing. It's taking advantage of mistakes and, a couple of big runs. The bad news is for Michigan is Penn State has an awesome defense.
Yep.
Penn State, it's not deep. They can't come at you with waves in the way that other teams can. But if you are going to succeed against Penn State, it probably will have to be incrementally on the ground. But through the air, I don't expect John O'Corn to do anything. Marcus Allen is one of the best safeties in the country. This team is great defensively, better than they are offensively.
Well, and that's the thing. Everyone thinks about offense when they think of Penn State, which is,
right,
by the way, an incredible turnabout from a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But given what we saw last year, we talked about the deep state thing.
Oh, yeah, I got that shirt, by the way. From
Great
Roar
shirt.
Lions Roar. Wonderful shirt.
Great shirt, right? But that's what you think of when you think of Penn State now because of what we saw second half of the year last year. The real unsung hero of this team has been its defense. Everyone's focused on the offense, but the defense has been really good. And they're not just shutting you down, but they're winning the field position battle. They're doing it really on both sides of the football, but field position has been one of the cornerstones of this defense so far this year. So you're right in saying that Michigan's got a tall order in front of them, not just to score points, but to win that field position battle. They got to get a short field if they want to score. They need to make it easier on themselves. And that's why I think if they're going to pull this upset, their only real hope of doing it, obviously, is to defend and cut off what Penn State wants to do on offense, but certainly to try and force some mistakes. Get a short field.
May I ask you what I think is a relevant question?
Sure.
We are approaching late October.
Yeah.
And it's a situation that we've seen happen with other teams where we are just saying they're good because we thought they were going to be good, and so far they've confirmed that. Penn State's best win to indicate that they are 10 points better than a team with an excellent defense is...
Right. Yeah.
And I don't say that to denigrate Penn State at all because they can play who's in front of them. It's just something we saw with, say, Auburn, right?
No, totally.
They lose to Clemson. They beat up on teams that are sort of shaky, and we just are saying, well, they killed them, so they must be. I'm just saying, not that Penn State is bad, that Penn State might be more of an unknown than we're giving them credit.
Oh, absolutely. And by the way, I don't think points are going to come easy for Penn State. Because Michigan is very good on defense, especially along their defensive line. I've talked ad nauseum about my troubles with Penn State's offensive line and how they've taken some plays off. They're still not great. This is a playmaking defense. They're very good on third downs. It's going to be a tough test for that Penn State front, which clearly has had its moments this year. So I'm not thinking Penn State covers the spread. I'm all in on Michigan plus the points here.
What is the magic number for Penn State to reach that is unclimbable for the Wolverines?
24.
Okay.
24-17 is my final here. I think this could be a tie game through 2.5, 3 quarters. And Penn State will find a way to control late, turn Michigan over late, win the field position game late, and get enough separation here to win like 24-17. But I think this is going to be a good football game.
Yeah. And since the Florida game, Michigan's most impressive win is Purdue?
Mm-hmm.
I have 23-16 Penn State. I'm taking the points. But in a game where I don't feel good about any real matchup beyond Penn State going against Michigan's passing game, I'm just going to take the points. I think Michigan's defense is too good to lose by more than 10 or more than 9.5. So I have Penn State barely covering.
And then the other game on Saturday at 7:30, same time on NBC. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame at home, a 3.5 point favorite against the USC Trojans. Dan, it's a bit of a rivalry game. It's the battle for the jeweled shillelagh.
Shillelagh.
Okay. There are very few moments on this show that are disingenuous. We try to be as real as possible on the show.
I like
right?
where this is going.
Yeah. Very few moments where we're faking it, where we're someone other than ourselves. I hope everyone realizes that I am genuinely superstitious when it comes to picking a game involving Notre Dame at all. Mm-hmm. And I'm just making this up to get cheap laughs here, okay? I don't want to pick this game.
I don't have a pick.
I don't want to pick this game if I don't have to.
Okay.
I don't. I'm scared.
Don't play scared, Ty.
I know scared money don't make money. I'm just saying.
Right.
Let me ask you a bunch of questions. Maybe you can help me feel better about the pick here.
I'll try my best.
How do you feel about Sam Darnold this year?
Very conflicted. Prone to boneheaded passes, but has an ability to improvise that is unlike any other quarterback, perhaps other than Baker Mayfield.
By the way, did I share my notes out with you? Are you reading directly from my sheet tonight?
I am not reading.
Because we've had the same margin of victory for all the teams we've picked. Now you've got the same notes. Here is what I wrote. Literally what I wrote. Shows great promise. Seems better when improvising. Clutch player. Too careless with the football. Bonehead throws. I have bonehead and improvise in my notes as well.
So the last thing I would want in this game if I were Notre Dame is the ball in Sam Darnold's hands with and even though the Wazoo game did not end well, in a big moment, I think he still will play to the moment. So USC down 4 with, 94 seconds left is I would just turn the TV off if I were you, Ty. Even if Notre Dame wins, it'll be brutal to watch.
Yeah.
Brandon Wimbush is back. Yes.
Yeah.
He is back. That's what I've seen. Notre Dame's defense, I believe they've allowed 1 rushing touchdown this year.
They've been very, very good against the ground.
They have been against a schedule that is Georgia and not much, right?
Yep.
Okay. Offensively, they have relied on bigger plays, which is really nice when you have Josh Adams to bail out subpar quarterback play at time. The difference is I'm not sure, it was Jake Fromm in his first start and who are the QBs that Notre Dame has faced.
I know.
Again, not a fault of their own.
Chaz Surratt isn't exactly bringing the fire of Sam Darnold.
So Sam Darnold and his ceiling is decidedly higher than everybody on their schedule, which is, again, can't blame Notre Dame. They play who they play. I don't love USC on the road. We saw the struggle against Cal. We saw, obviously, the loss against Wazoo. I think I'm going to go with Notre Dame here. I think I am. It's a, 3.5 point spread?
Yeah.
A good defense off of a bye.
Yeah.
Against a team that has struggled on the road, has turned the ball over, I think, 16 times already. Something like that has them 125th in the country. That's troubling to me, that particular stat, going on the road in a big spot to a tough place against a good defense. So I am I'm saying Notre Dame is surviving the 94 seconds of hell at the end of this game, and they win this game 28-24.
I am worried that USC's defense, which can be good,
Love and Wosu,
isn't always, but can be good. I'm worried they're going to show up and find a way to contain Josh Adams, which means they're going to force Brandon Wimbush into a pocket passer. Because that's kind of what USC did to Stanford, right? They had the Bryce Love early, the long touchdown run early, but then afterwards they were able to contain him. And that meant more pressure on Keller Christ, and he found very, very little down the field. They ultimately lost that game by 18 points. I'm worried the same thing could happen to Notre Dame here. I share many of your thoughts when it comes to Notre Dame's defense.
Where was that game, though, Ty?
The game was in USC.
It was in LA in the Coliseum.
I like Notre Dame's defense. They've been very good. They continue to get better. They're good at turning you over. They're very good when their backs are against the wall inside their own territory. I think that will go a long way towards preventing Notre Dame's downside in a game like this. I just have a moral contract with myself that if I'm going to reverse jinx anybody, I'm not going to reverse jinx my own team. It's only going to be against other teams. So I will vaguely, broadly, generally, wimpily say that USC covers the point spread here on Saturday night. But that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
You're not... Come on, Ty.
Going to leave it at that?
No. This is a show with scores, Ty.
31-28. USC covers.
Okay, by half a point. All right.
USC covers.
Fair enough.
Let's go to some other action.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Saturday at high noon. Louisville at Florida State. Big rematch from last year's bloodbath. Remember, Louisville hung 63 on Florida State a year ago. This year, Florida State's at home. They are a 6.5-point favorite, Dan. What do you think?
Could Louisville be the cure for the common offense?
It's sort of looking that way, yeah.
That Peter Sirmon hire has not been great. So Louisville's lost now 2 in a row, NC State and Boston College. Nothing to be ashamed of. Losing at NC State, a little bit of shame. And Boston College has improved, but giving up 45 in a loss is unacceptable. I like Florida State here. I like Florida State in a revenge spot. I know the Noles have not been all that good. I know their offense is super wounded, but I think they're going to be able to move the ball. They'll be able to contain Lamar Jackson enough. I don't think he will put up 500 yards. Maybe it's only 450. Maybe it's only 400. I'm going Florida State to win this game by a touchdown. I have 28-21 Florida State.
Yeah, I'm going Florida State here minus the points. I think they get the ground game going with Cam Akers and Jacques Patrick.
Jacques.
Yeah. Give me Florida State.
All right, we agree.
Saturday at high noon. Daniel. Iowa State at Texas Tech. Texas Tech, at least at the time of recording, is about a 6-point favorite. What is my golden rule when it comes to shootouts where the underdog's getting 6 or more points?
Take those grubby points.
Take those grubby points, Dan. Both these teams, as you know, have been very interesting to follow this season. Tech, because I think they're better. They're certainly better at running the football. Defense is come see, come saw. But I think as a whole, better for Texas Tech. And Iowa State, look, only one member of this broadcasting duo had the gumption to tell you up front, to tell an international verballer up front, that if you're going to pick a team, if you got no rooting interest and you're going to pick a team that's just going to be fun as hell, make that team Iowa State.
Wow.
Would you not agree with me that this team has been fun as hell so far?
They have been fun. The game against Iowa certainly not ending in the way that Clones fans would be happy with, but Iowa State they look like garbage against Texas offensively, but so damn fun against Oklahoma. They shut out Kansas, I believe, and after that Kansas shutout, granted, very early in the conference schedule, but what did I tell you I've been putting together, Ty, on the Google Docs?
You've been putting together some Danalytics.
I have been putting together some Danalytics. That is true.
Okay.
Iowa State leading the Big 12 in Big 12 games, uneven schedule, but everybody's played 3 games, leading the Big 12 in points allowed per drive. So I think the defense has been the sort of revelation, even with a third-string quarterback beating Oklahoma. I think Iowa State not only hangs with Texas Tech, is involved in a shootout with Texas Tech. I think they win this game 40-37. I think they win.
All right. We agree.
In Lubbock. Agree.
Going points here. Let's go to Saturday at 3:30. Let's go to Tuscaloosa, where the Crimson Tide, who we talked a little bit about at the top of the show, they're a 35-point home favorite.
Yeah.
against the hated Tennessee Volunteers. This is an awful lot of points, and I don't care who you're playing. You know, I went back and looked.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama has been favored by 20 or more points 7 times in their last 10 games. Their record against the point spread over that span is 2-5. 2-5. I could see this game being something like 38-6. I could see this game being out of hand and a crock potting and a runaway train and whatever other analogy you want to use. But 35 in what is still supposed to be a rivalry, despite the fact that Tennessee is kind of a tire fire, I'm going to take the points. 35 is a lot against a conference team, a rival like Tennessee. Give me the points.
And there's also the factor of Nick Saban likes running up a score when it's a revenge spot, if it's a recruiting thing, if there is a statement to be made. He's not afraid to these are running up the score with second, third, fourth string guys. We're not talking about leaving the starters in forever, but just to keep attacking. Do you think there is an element of not wanting to show up Butch Jones?
Probably.
I think there is probably going to be I think the dogs will be called off in a meaningful way.
This is like when your cat drags home a dead rabbit.
It has the ability to, but not fully destroying.
That's right.
That said, the context of Alabama fully destroying is still significant. I'm going to go with Alabama minus anything.
Wow.
Because you know what you got to do, Ty? You got to throw out those records in a rivalry, right?
Throwing out the point spread, too. Jesus.
I think Nick Saban actually said that this week. I think he actually said you have to throw the records out. Alabama wins this game 45-7, and that includes dogs being called off.
If I set the over-under for Tennessee points at 6.5, you would go over.
I'd probably go over. I don't love any of what they do on offense at all. I don't like.
Neither do
I don't
they.
Tolerate. Yeah. But yeah, maybe there's a special teams play. Maybe there's something, a scoop and score. I don't know. 45-7, Alabama minus anything.
Saturday at 3:30, LSU minus 6.5 on the road at Ole Miss. This is a very strange line to me. Very strange line.
Lean into it.
I know. It feels like it should be higher. I don't know why it's only 6.5. Maybe it's a letdown spot. Gosh, Ole Miss doesn't have a lot to play for. This is one of their big games. I am going to say Ole Miss, home dog of the week.
The Yakos, home dog of the week.
Dan, I can't explain it, but the force has been particularly strong this year with home underdogs. So I'm going to make Ole Miss. They're playing hard. I like Shea Patterson. I don't know if they win outright, but I think they cover the spread.
Possible look ahead, let down look ahead sandwich. Do we have that sound?
Oh, look at that sandwich. I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry.
Oh, boy.
Who do they got next week? Who does LSU have?
LSU has a bye, which is the ultimate look ahead. And then they have Alabama.
Okay.
So the ultimate look ahead, maybe that's like a club sandwich.
A double-decker.
Multi-layers.
Yeah.
You get a week off, and you're looking ahead to that and to Alabama. And a letdown after beating Auburn last second. Going on the road against, you got to throw those records out, Ty.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take those points. I think LSU's due for a letdown.
Hey, speaking of food, we're doing a new weekly segment with our friend Adam Amin.
So we're calling this segment, and we're going to have some sort of fun audio drop because Adam deserves an audio drop. If the letdown look ahead sandwich deserves it, my God, does Adam Amin deserve it? So Adam, our pal, calls Friday night games for ESPN. So we called the Wazoo USC game. We gave him a word to say, and he came through in the clutch, both saying that word, which was beefy, and also dropping a dude alert for Cody O'Connell, the left tackle or left guard for Washington State. So we decided, because everybody likes Adam, and, being involved, he is calling the Colorado State, New Mexico game. New Mexico, interesting offense, running that triple option. Bob Davie. Colorado State has good one too. Nick Stevens to Michael Gallup. Whatever. Could be fun. Could be a shootout. Over-unders 58. So what we're going to do is we are going to get a voicemail from Adam Amin every week, previewing not necessarily the game, but since he eats on the road, since he eats in the booth, we're going to preview his eating for his Friday night game. And then you can tweet him, Adam Amin, and ask him questions, give recommendations, follow him, do whatever you want to do. Is that what it's Adam Amin or Adam Amin ESPN? I
think it's just Adam Amin.
He's just Adam Amin, ADAMAMIN. So he's in Albuquerque this week, and he has his meal set. So we're calling this the Adam Amin VoiceMeal.
Hi guys, this is Adam Amin, longtime verballer, first-time reverber. And I'd like to introduce you to the dusty trails and Pueblo architecture of the Southwest Gem, known as Albuquerque. With 300 days of pure sunlight, it makes for a nutrient-rich soil perfect for growing some wonderful vegetables, including chilies, like the ones featured at Sadie's, one of the great New Mexican restaurants you'll find across these great United States. So in between talking about Mike Bobo's bowl eligibility, New Mexico's triple option, and teaching people the best process for making blue sky crystal meth on Friday, we may indulge in some of the carne adobada enchiladas. This has been the Adam Amin VoiceMeal of the week. Stay solid.
We need some music behind that.
We'll get some music. We'll get an audio drop. I love it.
Yeah, we're going to produce the hell out of that.
Yeah, if we do nothing else for the rest of our lives, we have the Adam Amin.
This will be our legacy. Thank you, Mr. Amin. Mm-hmm. And tweet him. Give him suggestions. He'll be calling in.
Where should he eat in Albuquerque?
Yeah, letting us know where he's at, what he's eating. It's become a feature of his commentary. We appreciate it. We appreciate his stellar work. He's had a very active year of games so far on a Friday night, so we look forward to seeing a little bit more about that. All right, let's move on. We got to go quick.
Let's do it.
Saturday, 3:30, Arizona State at Utah. Utah, a 10.5-point favorite, Dan. Is Troy Williams still the starter?
Maybe so, maybe not. Tyler Huntley is now questionable and may play in this game.
I feel like Arizona State's a bit of a different team. They kind of impressed me the last couple weeks.
They beat Oregon, they beat Washington.
Yeah, I don't know if they go on the road to Utah and win, but 10.5 is a lot of points. I'm not sure Utah can get that kind of separation. I'm going to go points here with ASU plus the 10.5.
Hate picking against Salt Lake City in a letdown spot against a really good defensive front. Utah minus 10.5. Under the, not assumption, but this is also confidence in Tyler Huntley coming back. I really like Utah here.
Okay, Saturday at 8 p.m., we've got Arizona, a 3-point road favorite at Cal. We informally launched our Khalil Tate for Heisman
yeah, it's true.
campaign a week ago. And not only am I picking Arizona minus the 3, but I'm doubling down.
Lock of the week.
It's a low point spread. I kind of wonder if maybe Arizona figured out what was going on over their bye week. They got it together. Khalil Tate runs wild. Arizona wins. Lock it up.
Possible letdown spot for Cal after completely demolishing Washington State. Cal does not stop the run. You can run on Cal. But literally, Ty, you can run on Cal. I can run on Cal. Khalil Tate is going to run on Cal. Feel the Khalil. Arizona by 13.
And then finally, Saturday, 10:45, we've got Colorado at Washington State. Washington State off the loss, a 10-point home favorite. To me, feels like a bit of a mismatch because Colorado's going to have some trouble with that Wazoo offense. And actually, the Wazoo defense, I think, is good enough to provide 10 points of separation, which is not something we've said a whole lot in the past about this Wazoo defense, but I think a mismatch I like Washington State at home.
Worried about Colorado barely getting by a reeling Oregon State. I think Washington State, good bounce back spot, Pac-12 after dark, super late night game. I think it's, 10:45 kick, you said?
Yeah.
I'm going Wazoo minus 10. I think they win this game by 20-24.
There are actually a bunch of other games that we just want to at least mention.
Let's zoom.
We got to zoom, but before we do need to tell you that Indochino is making it easy to get a perfectly tailored suit at an incredible price. You can choose from hundreds of top quality fabrics. Personalize your suit just the way you want it, whether it's for work or a special occasion like a wedding, especially if it's a special occasion like a wedding. Don't buy a generic off-the-rack suit. Go with Indochino. They've suited up hundreds of thousands of guys. They are now the largest made-to-measure menswear brand in the world. Here is how this magic works. First, you can go online to Indochino.com, INDOCHINO.com, or visit one of their showrooms. Pick your fabric, choose your customizations, and that includes everything from lapels to pleats to jacket linings and more. Then you submit your measurements and you place your order. You will get your custom-fitted suit in just a few weeks. That's all it takes. That's all you got to do. Solid Verbal listeners can get the best deal ever. Best deal ever. $359 for any premium suit when you enter.
What?
Solid. Yeah. $359. $359er.
That's insane. That's great.
Enter the code SOLID during checkout. 50% off the regular price. A made-to-measure premium suit. Free shipping. Indochino.com. INDOCHINO.com. Promo code SOLID. Any premium suit for just $359 with free shipping. It's an incredible deal, Dan. It's a suit that I promise it'll fit you better than anything you're ever going to find off the rack. We've talked about it for a long time now. They really do a good job.
You show up at a wedding, you show up at some sort of formal function where you're expected to wear a suit, and you're wearing it doesn't matter what you look like, what your shape is. Who cares? Throw that out the window with the records.
I picture people walking into a wedding with like the Bee Gees Staying Alive playing in the background. Just like a cool cat walking on in. Maybe got some aviator shades going. I don't know. You will be the talk of whatever event it is you're wearing your Indochino suit to.
What's worse looking than somebody wearing a suit because this is the suit I have and it's suit time. So this is what I put on and it makes me look like a trapezoid, but here we are.
Don't do that.
That's awful. That's a terrible first impression.
Indochino. Promo code SOLID. All right, here are some other interesting matchups. Yes. And I'm going to start it off with a little bit more spice. Kick it up a notch here. When I lock up Purdue.
Lock of the week.
Saturday, high noon, Purdue -8 on the road at Rutgers. Purdue is 5-1 against the point spread this year. I said it on Sunday. I'll say it again now. I'm in the back of the train. I'm shoveling coal into the steam engine. I am all in on the Boilermakers this year. Lock them up.
That sure is something. I think Purdue wins this game, even though it is, in Piscataway. Iowa at Northwestern.
Iowa -1.5 now at Northwestern. This one's at high noon on Saturday.
Give me Northwestern. They have a really good rush defense. We saw what they were able to do in holding Saquon Barkley down for a good majority of that game. I like Northwestern.
I like Iowa. They're the better team.
Okay, next.
Saturday, 3:30, Indiana on the road at Michigan State. Michigan State -7. I am going Indiana outright here. I am not much for Michigan State.
I disagree. Michigan State wins this game. Indiana in a letdown spot after taking Michigan to overtime. Probably should have gotten that onside kick call, but they did not. Michigan State at home. I think they win this game by 10-13.
Saturday at 3:30, possible letdown spot for Syracuse.
That should be the name of this episode. Week 8, the possible letdown spot.
Syracuse at Miami. Miami a 14-point home favorite. Syracuse, of course, knocked off Clemson a week ago. Miami had their hands full in the monsoon against Georgia Tech. Again, a 14-point favorite. Who you got?
I desperately want to take Syracuse, but I don't think they're stringing together wins against Clemson and Miami. And
come on, let's take Syracuse plus the points. Let's just do it.
It is going to be very rainy again.
Come on.
Can't do it. I'm going to give those points. I think it's too big a letdown spot.
Saturday, 4 p.m., Kentucky at Mississippi State. Mississippi State, a 10-point home favorite here. I think Mississippi State wins and covers.
I disagree. I think this has the makings of a very weird, high-scoring game, and in a shootout, I'm just going to grab those points. I don't think Kentucky's record is fully accurate of what Kentucky is and will be considered to be by the end of the year, but I think they cover this game.
Oregon at UCLA. UCLA, a 6.5-point home favorite, Dan. What is the state of play at Oregon? And can they put up enough points to cover this point spread, maybe beat UCLA on the road?
They could. Oregon's offense, passing offense, real bad. They can run it. UCLA's defense, real bad. It's at UCLA. UCLA has a quarterback. Oregon plays the pass all right. They're not great at anything, but they're pretty good on defense. I'm just going to take UCLA. Oregon's floor, even with UCLA giving up, 300 that was Colorado who gave up the 327 yards. Yeah. They gave up like 220 yards to Khalil Tate. The floor is lower on offense for Oregon. I just can't do it. So I'm going to take UCLA. I'm going to give those points.
Also on Saturday, also at 7:30, Wake Forest at Georgia Tech.
Yes.
Maybe not the most marquee night game, but I think interesting nonetheless. Both teams have, I think, shown a lot this season. I will take Georgia Tech here, minus the points. I do like Wake's offense. I do like Wake's defense, but the Georgia Tech offense is a sight to behold and not something that's very easy to prepare for. I think they beat up Wake Forest and run all over them.
I disagree. Wake Forest is coming off a bye week. John Wolford is back. I think it's all coming up Demon Deke. Georgia Tech coming off a tough loss last second to Miami. I don't know if Wake Forest wins outright, but I think Wake Forest can cover this spread.
And then on Thursday, as we travel back in time, Memphis at Houston. Houston minus 2.5, Dan. Another group of 5 contest.
Memphis throws the ball well. Houston plays against the pass really well. It's at Houston, short week. I'm going to give those points. I think Houston wins by 4-6.
All right. I'm going to go Houston as well. And that's
Some
it.
Struggles for the Cougars. Some struggles. Yes, that's it. That's all we have.
That is it. Thank you to everyone out there for listening. We appreciate you stopping by the Solid Verbal. We appreciate our good friend Adam Amin out there calling in from parts unknown. Let us know what his food situation will be. We'd encourage everyone to call the Reverb line, 408-VERBAL-1. If you want to give us a call, leave a voice message alongside Mr. Amin. We got some text messages coming in now. I've been writing back to people, thanking them for their support, chatting them up, seeing what's going on. Fun times here at Solid Verbal headquarters, Dan. I'm excited for week 8.
It's going to be a good one. I do have a request. If it's not like super trouble,
we're running long here.
Here's my request. Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, Ty. Will you drop that rock hard, deeply pulsating, gently pushing?
All right. Wow. That was a little bit more erotic than usual.
You think so?
Did I set it up? Did you believe that I had forgotten it?
I had totally believed you forgot.
Yes. Okay, I still got it.
Okay, very good. Colgate 3-4, which is a pretty good Pat League record.
Yep.
Or record for a team in the Pat League. Going to Holy Cross 2-5. I've got the Gators here. College football's one true Gators.
I'm gonna go Gators as well. Yeah, give me Colgate. Give me the toothpaste on the road.
All right, Fordham 1-6, Georgetown 1-5. Multi-sport field playing host to this giant matchup.
Whew. 2 aces here.
Yep.
Fordham 1-6, Georgetown 1-5. Give me Georgetown. This would be a big win after years of domination by Fordham in the Patriot League, but Georgetown wins. Not just anyone goes to multi-sport field and comes away
Absolutely
a victor.
Absolutely not. I'm going with Jorge Bucknell 3-3, the 1-500 team in the Pat League. The Nellies traveling to take on the Yetis in your backyard of Easton, PA.
Yeah, I'm going to go Yetis.
Whoa!
I never go Bucknell. You know I've got a thing against Bucknell.
I know. But I figured, because the Lehigh connection, good for you. I'm going with Bucknell.
What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Who else we got?
That's it. That's all I have. That's all you gave me.
Only 3 games in the Pat League.
That's what I'm seeing.
That does not feel, that does not feel like enough games.
Okay, so it is 3 games.
How many teams are in this Patriot League?
Ty, this is a bye week before the stretch run. You and I both know that because next week, week 9, 3 games.
Wow, okay. Really so resting up the troops.
It appears Lehigh and Holy Cross are off this week, right?
Yeah.
And then 3 more games week 10. Just a 3-game situation moving forward.
This is like group play during the World Cup. 3 games a day.
Mm-hmm. I'm not familiar with that tournament you're mentioning because of pure heartbreak.
Huh. All right. Well, not a lot of heavy artillery in the Patriot League this year, but we cover it nonetheless because that's what we do here on America's College Football Podcast. I believe that's what we've called ourselves here over the last couple seasons. We very much appreciate everyone hanging with us. We've seen a lot of great pictures come in with your T-shirts, wearing them out to games, wearing them around the house, at the tailgate. Keep sending those pictures in. We're going to keep using them in our newsletter of intent, which goes out every Friday afternoon. You can subscribe to that by going to our webpage at solidverbal.com. Perhaps you're familiar, but just get there, click on newsletter, and type in your email address. That'll be enough to get you on the list. Otherwise, we've got videos that we post on our Facebook page at facebook.com/solidverbal. I am aiming to have a special video segment this coming Sunday morning from a mysterious location here in the Lehigh Valley.
Can I make a request?
Please.
So what do you use to film? Your phone, an iPad?
I use my awful phone, which, by the way, may not survive Notre Dame USC on Saturday night.
Would you consider, and don't say no before thinking about it, you don't need to answer on the show right now, a carefully positioned, maybe just from the sternum up, Ty? Do you know where your sternum is?
I hope so at this point, yes.
Middle of your ribs.
Yeah.
So a shot right there. So just tight on the torso in the shower.
No.
No?
No.
Ty.
You're talking a wet, shirtless video.
Ty, we're in the business of views.
Honestly, my phone couldn't handle it even if I wanted to.
And you run the risk of it falling. That is quite the risk.
There is no risk of this phone falling at this point. I'm really just trying to break it so that I have a reason to get a new one. It's awful.
Okay. All right.
But I'm not, I can't do that.
Okay. That's fine. I just wanted to give the people what they wanted.
You may be the only person that wants that, but even you don't really want that.
No, not really. But I want views, Ty.
Views would be nice. Likes would be nice. Tell everyone about the Solid Verbal. Thank you for listening. Again, we will be back on Sunday. Fun week of college football games. I expect a lot of calls, a lot of tweets, a lot of text messages. Again, the number is 408-VERBAL-1. For that guy over there, my good friend Dan Rubenstein. For myself, Ty Hildenbrandt. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the games. And by all means, stay solid.
Peace.